this is Julissa. Thank you so much everybody for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much to everybody who's listening right now on Spotify and watching this video on Spotify. Today is Monday, November 24, 2025. It's the Monday before Thanksgiving Day. I'm here to speak about something somewhat food related, I guess you can say, but it really ties up together with everything that has been going on this year 2025, with people basically telling on themselves. And that's why you should never, I'm laughing because this is another example, you should never try to expose people unless it's something like criminal that you see, I guess you can say. People eventually will expose themselves, you know. People they don't hide, they cannot carry a mask for that long, right? And eventually they're gonna come out to another person, they're gonna display who they really truly are. And I think this year we have seen so many of that, a lot of people being exposed for, you know, for the real person that they are. And I think God is doing that so that we know and we pay attention that not everything is as it seems, right? And that's why you have to be so careful when somebody comes to you with information, right? Because we rather receive information about somebody instead of getting to know them, and we go off on that. We don't know the backstory, and we believe that 100% without even realizing. People are driven by jealousy, envy, and also, you know, by making somebody look down on another person just because they heard you say something positive about them. I mean, it could be so many things, right? They don't like how you possibly continuously talk about somebody, so they're gonna come up with some type of, you know, negative thing to say about them so that they can change that perspective of you, of that person. It could be a million things, right? And we see it happening often, right? And these are the things that are happening or had happened this year, since we have 38 days left in the year. 2025 is for us, all of this is happening for us to kind of pay attention, to keep in mind always that nothing will be kept hidden. Whatever is done in the dark will be exposed. Everything that's, you know, that's a biblical thing too, right? Before I continue, as you can tell, I have a lot to say about this topic. I want to thank everybody who has been subscribing on YouTube. Please continue to do so. It helps me as a creator. And everybody who's listening and watching this video, hopefully on Spotify, hopefully I do it right here. I want to thank you guys for following Julissadesigns podcast on Spotify and also on Apple Podcasts. It really helps me as a creator, okay? So yeah, we have another sample. I came across this recording that has gone viral on the internet of this Campbell soup, right? Everybody knows the Campbell soup. You know, it's a very I guess you can say traditional American item that people use for generations, right? And very well known, obviously. And as everybody's getting ready for the Thanksgiving dinner, I guess a lot of people use Campbell for like their broth, their soup, or whatever. People, it's the flu season too. Everybody wants a soup when they get sick, right? So let me just read to you guys what's going on. A Campbell Soup Company vice president was secretly recorded ripping the food giant products, mocking, quote unquote, saying this product is made for poor people. It says here that he said mocking poor people who buy them, blasting Indian co-workers as idiots, and admitting this he sometimes show up to work high. This man was caught secretly recorded saying all these things about the company that puts food on his table. Okay, this is why you have to be so careful. And if anything, I'm not saying this because it's Thanksgiving. We should live in this this continually I guess you can call it atmosphere of thankfulness, because your life can change at any moment. Anything can happen, right? So we should be continuously being thankful for the things that we have, and be appreciative, right? And this man says so many things and really basically revealed himself, right, on this secret recording, talking about his co-workers, talking about them regarding their race, talking about the company that he works for. Like I said, the company that puts food on his table, who pays for his kids probably school and food. This is why he said all of that, right? And the employees who reported it say he was one he's the one that got fired. So after this came out, the company decided to fire the person who recorded that. So let me continue to read. Robert Garza, former cybersecurity analyst from Monroe, Michigan, said he recorded on instinct when he sat down with Campbell's vice president and chief information security officer, Martin Bailey, for what was supposed to be a routine salary meeting last year. Instead, he captured what he described as an explosive hour-long tirade that left him feeling pure disgust. Garza began working at the company in Camden, New Jersey headquarters in September 2024. He said he trusted his gut feeling that something wasn't right with Martin before the meeting in November of last year, and within minutes he allegedly started unloading. According to the lawsuit filed Thursday in Wayne County Circuit Court, Bailey railed against the very products he oversaw. And I have the recording. I was able to pull it from the internet. I don't think I'll be able to put it here for you guys. Who knows, maybe I'll manage. But there's a lot of beep because this man is cursing about the company that he works for, right? And he said, we have effing product for poor people who buys our stuff. And he said, I don't buy any products barely anymore. He said, the recording was 75 minutes. He said, it's not healthy now that they use, I'm quoting him, it is not healthy now that I know what the F they use in it. This is a top executive for this company saying all of this. And he said, he is heard at another point saying, the ingredients in Campbell soups are bioengineered meat. Okay, I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer. Wow, you guys, this is crazy. You guys remember when I think it was Chick-fil-A who I think they say that, I think it was maybe 2 years ago, I don't remember, I did make a video about it, because Chick-fil-A, because they don't open on Sundays, right? We as the Christ believing people, we put them in a pedestal. They can be selling like the worst food, but because they label themselves as a Christian company, I guess you can say, they can do whatever they want as long as they're not open Sundays. They're Christian, fully Christian, right? But they actually came out and said that they are using lab meat, that they are using some of their products lab meat, and you can tell, right? Not long ago, I remember I went to get a grilled chicken Sunday. I never go that way. It's kind of far from where I live, and I bought that. This is just my personal opinion, and I threw it out because I couldn't even bite on it. After you go through the drive-through, there's no way I'm driving back to tell them that, right? But I was like, the image that came to my mind, it was immediately, I remember these people said they were going to use made up food, right? And that's what it was. The chicken was just basically rubber, and I was like, they're selling this stuff for people. That's crazy. And this company, the Campbell suit, say that they're now using bioengineered meat. This is what one of their top executives came out and said. Yes, he didn't say in a press conference. Yes, he was secretly being recorded, but he said it. And when companies do those big moves like that, usually the top people know stuff like that. That's kind of like very private too. And this man said, I don't want to eat chicken that came from a 3D printer. And it's so sad that this is what they're doing, right? And this man is basically berating the customer, because it's basically berating the people that put food on his table, because without customers there is no Campbell soup, right? And he's saying, this food that we make is basically for poor people, and they're eating bioengineered meat, right? It is so sad. And he basically exposed himself, because if you think about it, let's just say like, when you hear this, how you know you need to leave where you're working. When your mindset shift from the when you first started that you love the company, and then you start noticing yourself just basically hating everything about it, like to the point that even like I know some people, they get in their car and they start driving to their company that pays for their bills, I guess you can say, and they immediately have this kind of like disgust thing. Like, just leave there. You don't need to be there. And this reveals also how a lot of people are just doing a job for a paycheck, right? And how people are just, just they hate what they do, but they still show up for work. It's like, do you know how many, there's so many other companies, right? And how foolish of this man to be speaking like that to another co-worker, right? I'm so, like, being a designer myself, and this is just a side note, I'm so into branding, right? And I'm so respectful of branding. I when I went to fashion school, the most important thing was, along many other things, obviously, branding is so important because it's how people identify what you sell, right? And that's why even when I, this is just a side note because this is kind of like, it's about respecting the company that you work for. Even when I do shows, right, my main question for people is, especially for models who I just go and meet that day and they're like ready to work with me, but I say, if you're not comfortable, I give them a little brief thing about who I am and what my brand represents. And if I see some type of I don't want to do that, you're not, I immediately say, I'm not gonna make you do something you're not comfortable with. My brand is about Jesus Christ and glorifying God. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. And next, we'll keep casting the next model, right? Because branding is so important. And why would you want to have somebody in your team that hates the company, right? Because even if you're trying to sell something, you want somebody who loves the brand. That's why when a lot of people work in retail, they get a discount to buy the merchandise because they want people to wear. They want the employees to look like the brand they're selling. Because if there is a jacket that is on the mannequin and the employee is wearing it and here comes a customer, that employee will tell that customer, this is why I love this jacket and you should buy it too, right? And this kind of like unload that this top executive did, and he was recorded, and he said it to an employee. He probably never thought he was going to be recorded, right? And he said all of these things, and what a shame that you are in this executive level at a company, right? And you have basically no respect for them, no respect for what they do. And then when you get revealed, right, because everything comes out, then you're going to fire the person who recorded you, right? Because now you're being exposed, right? So I understand in different places, because of law, you're not supposed to record somebody without their knowing, right? Even though you can go anywhere on the street and you're recorded. Search your home address and you'll see probably yourself in the parking lot, right? Everything is being recorded all the time. There's always somebody listening. It's so crazy how everybody's always watching. There was a song that became popular too. I think it was this year. Somebody's watching or something like this, because it's so true. There's always somebody like just paying attention to everything that you do. Is so crazy. And there's cameras everywhere too. There's cameras everywhere. And how can this man think that he's just gonna unload like that and just, nobody's gonna say anything? I mean, if anything, what, he was gonna fight this guy, meaning like, oh, this lower level employee came out saying the CFO, whatever, it started saying so many bad things about the company, and then they would come to him and be like, did you really say that? He would, I never said that. He's lying. He has no proof of me saying it. But now he's like, he's on tape, right? Because that's the other thing. People always think that you don't notice stuff, right? They believe that you're intelligent, but when they want to do something behind your back, they reduce your intelligence to a 2-year-old. And then they're never going to know. They're never going to notice. They don't notice patterns, right? You're like, would you like to see video, audio, or what proof do you need, right? It's so crazy. But we'll see what happens of this. My thing with this recording is that the guy didn't know that he was being recorded. That's number one, right? But this is an eye-opener for everybody who uses this merchandise, and I wonder how that's going to affect, because from my understanding, Campbell's never has said that they use bioengineered meat, right? And I don't remember hearing anything about that, and now this is all being revealed like that. So have they always used it and just put it in a small print in their ingredients and nobody noticed, and now everybody sees it? A lot can happen from this, right? So let's just see. I mean, Campbell soup is such an iconic brand for this to be coming out like that. I want to see what the comments people are saying. Let me just read. Let me see if I can go into the comments today before I finish. But yeah, if branding is everything. If you don't like the brand that you're selling, don't do it. Like, get out. Like, because even if it doesn't come out at one point, it will show up somehow. Once you don't like something, it will eventually, your body will tell you, and your body language will tell you exactly, right? So let's just say, see, people are talking about the recording laws, right? In New Jersey, this happened in Camden, New Jersey, by the way, in the headquarters. So in New Jersey, you can tape record anybody, exceptions areas are of reasonable privacy, like bathroom or bedroom, as long as the person taping is part of the conversation. It's a New Jersey, it's a one-party consent. I think this is gonna be the main thing. It's not even what he revealed. I think the main thing about this whole issue is gonna be like, this man was being recorded first, and then using that recording against his, his knowledge, to use in a court of law to damage him, right? To damage the company. So, Garcia and his employee, he works for Campbell. He should never secretly tape anyone, including his boss, in a meeting without the boss' permission. Somebody's saying he was a whistleblower, right? That's what they're calling him. His tape recording was stand up in a New Jersey court. It's one consent state, they're saying. And then people are going back and forth talking about what's the best soup. It's not even about that. It's just it's it's kind of like it's kind of sad. It's like hearing, let's just say, a pastor, right? I'm talking for the things that I know. Let's just say a pastor that always greets you so beautiful, right? Every time you meet him, he's always so nice to you, and then somebody within his inner circle sees you without him one day and says, the pastor really doesn't like you. Like, you get that kind of like, what a faker, right? Kind of like, come on, like, really? He's an actor, right? So yeah, and even receiving something like that, you have to be careful to, like, why are you saying that to me, trying to damage how I see the pastor, things like that. But this man works as a staff executive for this company, and then he's behind the scenes. He hates it pretty much, right? He hates the co-workers. He hates the product. That's my biggest thing. If you don't like the product anymore, get out. You have no business here. You don't have the best interest for this company. If you don't like the product that you're trying to sell, trying to upgrade daily, trying to find better ways to make it more likable to the consumer, then you're done with the company, basically, right? And it came out very publicly what he thought about it. So let me just see what else it says here. People are just missing the point. They're just talking about which is the best soup. So I guess in New Jersey, it's okay to record just with one consent, Still, I believe this man got fired because he recorded his post without his knowledge and then basically made everything public about it. That's just, you know, what I think about, my opinion about it, but we'll see what comes out of this. He's suing the company. It's just, you know, it's so sad. I don't know if they already made it public that they made bioengineering meat, right? So let me know, guys, what you think about this. I really don't have much to say, anything else to say about it. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching right now on Spotify and listening, and thank you to everybody who's watching on YouTube. Have a good day. God bless. Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.